Now I know. Silence is what protects him. What followed wasn't just emotional. It was damning. The prosecution then introduced two additional loyalty agreements that had been recovered during investigations into Diddy's former employees and business partners. Though formatted differently, they carried the same eerie themes: secrecy beyond death, spiritual submission, and severe consequences for disloyalty. Jada's testimony, once thought to be a last-minute addition, was now a turning point, one that revealed a broader, more disturbing pattern that went far beyond her own experience. The language in the newly presented documents mirrored the bizarre elements of Jada Pinkett Smith's testimony with disturbing accuracy. One of the agreements came from a former assistant who claimed she received the folder in 2007. Another surfaced from an ex-dancer who had worked on Diddy's world tour in 2010. Both described eerie clauses that spoke of silence beyond death, eternal contracts, and a heavy emphasis on aligning with the mission of legacy through sacrifice. Jurors flipped through the exhibits, visibly rattled. The striking similarities to Jada's story were undeniable, and the courtroom's energy shifted from curiosity to alarm. But the revelations didn't stop there. A forensic handwriting expert was called to examine all three documents. The expert testified that although the typed content varied, the handwritten annotations, including underlines, margin notes, and a cryptic symbol resembling an eye enclosed in circle, were consistent with Diddy's handwriting. When asked by the prosecution if she recognized the symbol, Jada nodded solemnly and said, "He told me it was the Watcher. Said it would protect him and punish those who betrayed the mission." Diddy's legal team immediately objected, calling the documents fabrications and accusing the prosecution of orchestrating a conspiracy. However, the judge overruled, stating that the consistency across three independent testimonies, along with the forensic evidence, warranted deeper investigation. The courtroom audience was visibly disturbed. One observer fainted and had to be escorted out after the third document was read aloud. What had begun as a celebrity trial now resembled something far more sinister, a covert, cult-like system hiding behind a facade of loyalty pacts and spiritual jargon. And Jada's calm yet haunting delivery drove home the message that this wasn't about paperwork. It was about control, fear, and silence enforced at the highest levels. As Jada continued, her testimony shifted from a personal account to a broader expose. It became a glimpse into the dark underbelly of Hollywood, one that many insiders whispered about but few dared to confront. She explained how she had spent years avoiding specific individuals, sidestepping lavish parties, and declining elite invitations because she knew what they were truly about. "There are entire calendars built around who's hosting what party," she said. "And if it's Diddy, you know what that means." She recalled standing on red carpets where other female artists exchanged quiet, knowing glances whenever Diddy appeared. Assistants, she added, often used coded language to discuss certain events. Phrases like the upstairs room, midnight circle, and bringing your aura allegedly indicated that someone was about to be invited into what Jada described as his net. "I wasn't the only one approached," she told the jury. "I was just one of the few who said no, and survived it." Over the years, Jada admitted to quietly warning a few women she trusted, urging them to be cautious. She never shared the full story. It felt too dangerous, but she dropped hints, gave nudges, anything she could to protect them. Some listened. Some didn't. A few disappeared from the spotlight altogether not long after. She also revealed that others had confided similar experiences to her. Being approached, being shown bizarre agreements, and being offered access to exclusive opportunities in exchange for silence and unwavering loyalty. It was always framed like a gift, she said. Never a threat. But you could feel the threat under every word. As her testimony deepened, Jada's voice remained composed, but the weight of what she was saying grew darker. She described how individuals who once thrived in Diddy's orbit, only to vanish or fall from grace, weren't just burned out or taking breaks. Many, she believed, had been broken, damaged by the very system they were once eager to join. "If this trial hadn't happened," she concluded, "I never would have said a word. But it's time. Everyone thinks the worst thing you can do is speak out. But staying silent, that's how this all survives." "No to power," Jada said. "I promise you, the worst thing isn't speaking up. It's staying quiet and letting that power grow." As she testified, all eyes occasionally flicked back to Diddy, whose demeanor told its own story. At first, he appeared impassive, leaning back in his chair with his head lowered, as if trying to suppress any reaction. But as Jada recited portions of the loyalty agreement and vividly described their 2004 encounter, his body language shifted. He leaned forward, rubbed his temples, and exchanged tense whispers with his attorney, only to wave them off with curt nods. What stood out most were the moments when Jada used his own chilling words against him. When she repeated, "You'll regret it in the next life," Diddy visibly flinched. When she described the Watcher, he turned away completely, refusing to look at her or the jury. For the first time in the trial, he seemed unprepared, cornered. Courtroom sketch artists captured the moment, and the images quickly circulated online. One reporter described Diddy's expression as haunted. The gallery buzzed with murmurs. Journalists whispered among themselves. The judge had to ask twice for silence to be restored. At one point, Diddy took out a notepad and began scribbling furiously while his legal team huddled around him, requesting a sidebar with the judge. They allegedly asked to have Jada's testimony stricken from the record. The judge refused. "This witness came voluntarily," he said. "Her experience is relevant to understanding the broader allegations." The tension escalated as Jada pointed out the similarities between her loyalty agreement and the others. That's when someone in the gallery noticed Diddy's hand trembling. A courtroom observer tweeted. He wiped his face. He wasn't in control anymore. Throughout her testimony, Jada never once looked at Diddy, until the very end. When asked if she had a final statement, she turned toward him and calmly said, "You always told me I'd regret saying no. But look around. You're the one on trial, not me." Diddy froze. The air in the room felt charged, almost electric. For the first time, silence didn't feel like protection. It felt like reckoning. One word at a time, accountability was catching up. As Jada Pinkett Smith stepped down from the witness stand, the courtroom remained in stunned silence. But outside the courthouse, the impact of her words was already rippling through the entertainment world. Headlines erupted. Jada breaks silence, exposes Diddy's dark pact. Inside Diddy's loyalty agreement, the contract that spanned lifetimes, Jada links Diddy to cult-like contract culture in Hollywood. Social media exploded. Celebrities posted vague, cryptic messages, some in support, others clearly uncomfortable. Fans speculated which A-listers might have received similar folders. Podcasts dissected every sentence of her testimony. Journalists began connecting long-standing rumors to unexplained career downfalls and mysterious celebrity disappearances. Jada's words had ignited something. The district attorney's office confirmed that more subpoenas were on the way. Allegedly, investigators were already examining Diddy's network of shell companies, contracts, and legal enforcers who maintained silence through coercion. One legal analyst on CNN said, "If these documents are authentic, and if more celebrities come forward, this could be the biggest entertainment scandal since Weinstein, maybe even bigger." Jada's bravery had done more than expose one man. It had pulled back the curtain on a shadowy structure, a web spun over decades, sustained by fear, silence, and power. And what made it even more chilling was how close it had come to staying hidden forever. The spiritual, almost otherworldly aspect of Diddy's alleged influence became one of the most chilling elements of Jada's testimony. His belief in contracts that extended beyond death, the symbolic use of the Watcher, and threats disguised as cosmic prophecies weren't just tactics of control, they were attempts at ownership. He wasn't just trying to silence people, Jada had warned. He was trying to own them. The judge ordered a full review of her claims, and her credibility, long-standing career, and respected public image worked in her favor. Even skeptics admitted she had nothing to gain, and everything to lose, by testifying. As the session closed, reporters noted a strange calm settling over the courtroom. A storm had passed, but another was clearly brewing. The world was now watching, and someone would have to answer for what had been unearthed. In the days that followed, Jada reportedly began receiving messages, not from the media or fans, but from other celebrities. Quiet phone calls, anonymous texts, a few discreet DMs from old colleagues. Most of them echoed the same sentiment. "Thank you for saying what we couldn't." According to courthouse sources, several individuals who had previously refused to testify were now speaking with the district attorney's office. Jada's courage had cracked the seal, and the dam of silence was beginning to break. But what the public didn't know, until now, was that Jada had already tried to sound the alarm years earlier. In a private lunch in early 2016, she reportedly met with Beyoncé, Solange, and two other unnamed women in the music industry. Framed as a casual meetup of powerful women, there were no press, no assistants, no photos, just quiet conversation. But one topic dominated: Diddy. Jada warned them that if they were ever approached with anything spiritual, loyalty-based, or legacy-oriented from him or anyone in his circle, they should walk away. Don't even entertain it. Don't be polite. Just walk away, she reportedly said. When Beyoncé asked why she was so adamant, Jada replied, because he believes he's untouchable. He doesn't need consent. He needs control. And when you say no, you're not just saying no to a man. You're saying no to something darker. No one else at the table responded directly, but Jada said she saw it in their eyes: recognition, unease, maybe even guilt. This moment resurfaced in court during a sidebar interview with a close friend of Jada's, who explained that she never wanted to start a war. She only wanted to protect people without dragging them in. But deep down, Jada feared that if no one spoke up, he would only grow bolder. The aftershock of her testimony has created ripples that continue to spread. Several production companies are now under investigation for coercive contracts linked to Diddy. One major music streaming service quietly removed playlists that featured artists allegedly protected by his team. A fashion brand pulled an unreleased campaign that featured Diddy and the tagline, "Legacy Lives Forever." Through it all, Jada has stayed silent, avoiding the press. A close source said she's being deliberate, letting her testimony speak for itself. She said what she needed to say, the source explained. Now she wants people to sit with it. And even in that silence, Jada's decision to speak may have broken a chain of fear that had been tightening for decades. Because now, others are finally stepping forward.